fairly standard. I mean, if you do a lot of JavaScript, then the Vue.js, like the front end of GitLab, should be pretty comfortable to you, I would imagine.
Yeah, I'm trying to get familiar with the GraphQL stuff as well.
Awesome. We're probably going to be talking about GraphQL a little bit actually.
Oh, cool.
So I'll try not to go into too much detail so everyone doesn't have to catch up. But yeah, so for like you will have one of these like onboarding issues, I guess, if you've recently sort of joined as a contributor.
Yeah.
So in order to manage those, we've got this issue. It's a bad example now because we haven't got any pending. But essentially, if I edit this, you'll be able to see. So this uses something called GLQL. And I did have the docs up earlier, but closed them. GLQL docs. So the GitLab query language, and that essentially allows us to say, oh, we want to display a table, we want these fields, these columns from this project, any issues with these labels where they're still open, and it will pull details and display those columns. So I'm going to try and fake an issue in there quickly so that we can see what it looks like. Audio. Hey, Nick. Hoping there'll be one in here.
Hi Lee. Hi.
Hey, from one of my test users somewhere. There we go. We've got some closed ones. I can reopen one of these. If I stick a label on here. So what we were finding is occasionally that like the onboarding issues would, let's say, slip through the cracks. So like if you had an onboarding issue and we approved you and then you asked some questions, we might miss that. So we have an automation now that adds the updated label whenever a community member kind of comments on their issue. And then the marvel that is GLQL will then pull those issues into this table here, along with ones with that haven't been approved and are still pending as well. Now, there's some other awesome use cases or things that I would love to be able to use it for, but in order to do that, what I really want to kind of see is an updated status of kind of like where's this at, what's the next step, that kind of thing. And look who's just joined. So we have an expert to hopefully take us through the process. So I feel like I have contributed to this before, but I thought it was in the main code base, not in this separate project. So I'm not sure if there is some stuff that happens in the monolith as well. Do you want to give us a brief intro? Or
Yeah, so we have these two projects. Yeah, I mean, intro, like I'm Himanshu and I'm basically the DRI for this GitLab query language project, and also responsible for the views part, like whatever you see in the Markdown rendered views. And a brief summary of the project is that it's we have this compiler that takes a GLQL query, which is a mix of YAML and the query syntax itself, and gives it to this parser, which is in a separate Rust library, which is compiled to WASM. So we have everything on the front end. And the GLQL query is converted to GraphQL, and then we make that request. So that's basically an idea of how it works. There is, of course, there's a lot going on between those two steps, like taking the GLQL and getting the GraphQL back. And yeah, we will go through some of that in today's session.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, why, without sort of going into too much detail, can you help us understand why we made the decision to have like a compiler built in WASM or whatever it is, rather than just doing something in JavaScript?
Yeah, so there are a couple of advantages. Like when you have such a versatile language that you want to build that right now handles issues and MRs, but maybe in the future would be able to handle something much beyond that, like potentially like the entire GitLab platform. You want something that is more robust and stable than just JavaScript. So it has to be in a typed language, and it also has to be extremely fast, and it should have like a minimal footprint, like the size of the library itself should be like fairly small. And so these are the advantages of Rust over JavaScript. The other advantages of why we are compiling it to WASM is that we already have this very versatile GraphQL API that takes care of a lot of things for us, like authentication, and authorization, like whether you have access to a particular issue or not. It abstracts away a lot of complexity for you. And this was an opportunity for us to reuse what we already have and not try to reinvent the wheel in the backend. So that is why we went with this approach. So this plugs in straight into our existing public APIs. And the potential is quite huge that it can in future be used within plugins that are used outside of GitLab as well. At least that is the idea.
Awesome. Yeah, that was one of the things I was wondering. It, because this is like separate, can it be inserted in other places? Cool. Awesome. So all I've done is cloned the project. I didn't want to jump too far ahead. So we've got this kind of as a bit of a tutorial going forwards. Although I'm sure, as is always the case, our docs are pretty awesome. So I've cloned, and I can see there's a couple of dependencies I need, and there's a tool version. So I hope that Myers will allow me to. Yeah, hopefully, Myers will allow me to install Rust. I did wonder, again, you don't have to know the answer to that, but I considered whether we should maybe add left hook to the tool versions as well, or is there more of a kind of expectation or assumption that would already be installed, so we don't want it like two versions, one managed by Myers and one managed by Homebrew, or?
Yeah, that was the reason, because, left hook can be installed by various means. Some people prefer to install it via brew, and some people via gem install. So yeah, I mean, it could work either way.
So I don't know Myers very well. It's telling me everything is installed, which surprises me. I think, is it Myers list will show me everything? Myers
Yeah,
list.
we haven't really thought about using mice for this project.
Looks
So
like Rust's already there. Okay, I wasn't expecting that, but let's yeah.
well,
So it is. Yeah, cool.
yeah, you can check cargo version as well, and then it should be like yeah, it's
That's
well,
good. So I did, that wasn't recognized, so I guess I just need to run this brew command.
yeah, but I believe mice can also install left hook for you. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'd be tempted to add it in, but it's if people often have it already, then maybe it's not necessary.
Yeah, maybe we can bring the case once again. Yeah, but the last I discussed it was like not recommended to put there. So
I take it the test suite is pretty small in comparison. I'm not going to do like I do with the monolith. No, okay, so crash. Would that be expected?
You can just do
Marco.
yeah, you can just do cargo test without the verbose. Okay.
I mean, probably don't need to. I guess I can run individual tests if and when I need to, but I thought that would be a good test of just whether I've got my dependencies installed.
No, you cannot. This is the compile step before running the test. So yeah, I think yeah, I haven't seen that error before, so I'm not sure how to debug that, but
Figure out where it's getting this version from.
yeah, I think we need to Google it, like
Cargo lot.
yeah, maybe you can just copy the error and try to
Yeah. Yeah, let's ask our friend.
yeah, usually what yeah.
A little bit confused because I don't know if this means something different, because like clearly this is a different version to like we're running Rust 1.73, but this
No,
is saying
Rust version is a library.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basic library to get the version of Rust you're running, which is and yeah, this is failing. Maybe you can try to Google it.
Let's try it. I was hoping Duo is normally better than Google, but let's have a look. It's a different library. Specifically looking for. It's helpful. Rust version. Wonder if I can just like bump to the latest or 1.0.2.0.
You cannot change the cargo lock file directly.
Of course
should
not.
do it in the cargo.toml. Yeah, Rust version. Probably it's not being used.
It's not actually mentioned in here, so I guess that's a dependency of another
yeah,
of one of these other
what you can do is try to use a different tool chain. So I just need to look up the command. It's
okay, cool.
I'm curious, why is Rust being used?
So we touched on that just while Himanshu's doing some Googling there. No, it's fine. It's fine. So to small footprint, fast, and also the idea being that this is hopefully reusable as well. So, rather than just being used from the GitLab front end, there are other, projects that this could be plugged into in the future. I hope I got that summary very clear.
Yeah,
and being a typed language is a a bit better as well, you know, a bit safer.
Yeah, I thought that GLQL was built on top of the GraphQL endpoint of the.
Yeah, so it does essentially compiles, it converts the the GLQL query or YAML into a GraphQL query.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I shared a command with you in the chat. That should override the version. It's in the Zoom chat. Oh, so what this command is doing is that it's ignoring the version 1.73, which is quite out of date, and is going to use the latest version.
Okay.
And I hope that does solve our problem. Oh, you changed the log file, right? You need to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't mean to save that, but I obviously did save that.
Well, I guess that's looking like good news.
I think it's got further than it did before. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And there you go. You have all the tests passing.
Perfect. Perfect.
And just one little setup step. I think we should mention this in the docs as well. Maybe it will be better if you can install the Rust Analyzer extension for VS Code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a few too many extensions at the moment. I should probably get rid of a few because they're taking up too much room. But
yeah, this one doesn't take room in your sidebar.
Oh, okay, cool. Rust Analyzer. You said the second one.
Yeah, the second one. Yeah.
Perfect. So this makes it a prerequisite, but it's just a reminder for me later to try and push something up. Cool. Okay, perfect. So it looks like we've got a dev environment pretty much up and running.
Yeah, and I think one thing more is missing and a little bit out of date is that we now have an examples page, which is if you look at the file structure, there is an examples folder in NPM, under NPM. No, it's not example, but it is like index.html. That's basically the file. Yeah. So this is the rough example. And what we would like to do is run it. So yeah, we need to, I haven't really documented this and I need to do that. So there's like a...
Just open it or?
No, I need to update the docs about it, but it's like 3 or 4 commands that you need to execute.
Okay. Okay.
So the first command is wasm pack. I'm going to share that in the chat as well. So wasm pack build hyphen target web. What this does is that it takes your
looks like I don't have that. Do I need to install?
Yeah, I think this one would go in the bottom section where we mention running locally, testing locally, like manually testing it. And there is a statement at the bottom that says you can use it's in the last line of the file. Development and testing use this, which is which is out of date. We don't have a tester anymore. So yeah.
We'll just scribble it as a note. So yeah, it's complaining that wasm pack isn't available. Is that something that I can install via Myers or?
No, wasm pack is is a program you install via Cargo. Let me share.
Okay.
Actually, you can just go into the GitLab CI.yaml, and you can see what's going on there. You just look for Wasm pack. So you see, that's one. You can do Wasm pack install. Yeah, this one. But
Virtual.
yeah, everything is taken from GitLab CI because everything works there normally. I'm not sure why it refused to compile, but yeah, things like that happen quite a lot. Like maybe there is some difference in your development environment. Yeah, yeah. So now
Right, so that's done. Is that because of the difference in we used a different version? Should I just update tool versions to the version that we ended up using?
Yeah, I think you need to install Wasm pack, the latest version, which is 1. Yeah, you don't have to mention version. You can just do Wasm what the command was, but remove the version.
Like that, maybe. Okay. Still not happy.
Oh, okay. I think the message it's giving you is clear that since your setup is a bit different, you used mice to install Rust and you did not use rustup, which is the usual way to install Rust.
Okay.
So it's just saying that you need to install this target manually. So what you do is cargo install wasm 32 hyphen unknown hyphen unknown. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we need to document this caveat as well. Like if you're using mice, then these are the steps. If you're
Spelled that wrong. Yeah.
okay, let me just
I think I spelled it wrong myself. Maybe not.
yeah, just let me see how we actually install that. Oh, it's a different command. Yeah, it's a little, quite a bit of gotchas, but I'll share the command. It's not a library, it's a target. So you should just do rustup target add. Okay, now you try the command. Yeah,
Looking better.
looking better, yes. And after this is done, you should see like a package pkg folder, which is ignored by git
Okay.
ignore. I'm not sure if you, yeah, I mean, after this is complete.
So we're going to get like a little playground environment where we can test stuff. Is that roughly what we're building, or?
Yeah, you can do that.
We got, yeah.
Yeah, you got a package folder, and now you need to go into CD, into the npm folder. Yeah, not in the package, in the npm.
Or just
It's
npm.
yeah, CD npm, and then just do an npm install and npm run build. So this uses rollup to take whatever is in your package folder and generate a single. You see the package folder has a wasm file.
Yeah.
GLQL bg.wasm.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is the binary we just built. And
Okay.
this npm run build is going to take this wasm, convert into a base 64, and put that in a single JS file. So inside npm, you should see a dist folder now. Inside the npm, yeah, there should be a dist folder, which has main.js, which is like this massive, yeah, at the bottom of, yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. So the last step is to do npx wds.
Was it, sorry, WTS, that one?
WDS, it's a web development server.
Okay.
So this is going to start a server on localhost.
Lovely.
Yeah, so you just go to that page and you have a GLQL demo running. Now what you can do is like you can just enter some GLQL. I mean, we already have a few examples, but in the input above, maybe you can type assignee equals current user. Uh, uh, the function, you need to call the function.
Current user function, cool.
Yeah. And this would, and if you submit, this should give you, yeah.
Okay.
The user, we just assume a few defaults for this demo, and you can see those that code in index.html.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Which YAML was it?
It's in npm, the index.html. Yeah, it's just very basic JavaScript, like you.
Cool.
Yeah.
So this is showing an example of like, so this is the GLQL query, and this is, as it's then translated that to
Yes,
a GraphQL query, right?
a work items query, and GLQL supports multiple targets, which means that it can compile to either the work items query or also the legacy issues query. You
Got it.
can try that in index.html. There's a line of code somewhere down there. Yeah, so you see that where compiled equals, I mean, this is like really simple code. We're using wheres and not even using lets. So if you do, yeah, there's another compile statement like glql.compile. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the examples are being compiled as work items GraphQL, but the main query is compiled as issues. So yeah, you can just change this to GraphQL and that will give you the issues API.
So this one here, just get rid of the work items prefix.
Yeah. And if you just refresh, all the examples will not have those widgets anymore, which is the legacy. Uh, yeah, none of them have
That's all
widgets.
using issues, and then I could do the opposite, all right? And
yeah, down there as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Now we're using work items and widgets.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, lovely. Great. Excellent.
And there's also a list of fields we pass there.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. This one here, yeah.
Yeah. And this is a sort of a thing where we pass one more field here, which is what we want to build. And of course, it's going to break because we don't support it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that will be a nice start to our test. Like, let's say we call the field last comment.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's going to break everything because it will say if well, it's not technically it's not going to break because it just compiles to GraphQL, but it doesn't actually check whether the GraphQL is correct or not. It will break at a later step in the monolith. You can see the last comment field being included after.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we just now need to tell the compiler that this is not how you render the last comment. We just need to tell it to do it a bit differently. Yeah.
Just going to say, okay, so I'm a bit confused by this, but I think that's.
I don't think you copied the entire query. It's like it's a huge one.
Oh, okay. I need all of this. This is all part of the query, is it?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah, before the examples. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, got it. It's maybe I'll make it my mission to fix the indentation to make it more readable.
Yeah.
That's better. That's better. And yeah, quite clearly that fails or should fail. But hopefully, if we get rid of that.
Yeah.
And hopefully.
Yeah, it's quite
a taxing query, but it does an error. Great. Okay, good start.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another issue that we just requested for one issue in a particular project and assigned to a particular user, and yeah, it still gets a bit complicated. But yeah, that's a separate issue. So we need to figure out, I mean, you already worked on the backend API, so what the widget structure looks like. So we can model that in the GraphQL Explorer first. And then based on that, like, let's try to fetch the last comment here. Maybe you can.
So I almost prepared myself. Let me just. So what I was going to do. So this is using issues API, and then to check notes, and we want.
Yeah, I see you are interested in contacts as well. Like, we don't support that in GLQL, but
no, don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not going to push you that hard. Not yet.
yeah, but whatever approach you use here can also be applied to pull in contact information.
Perfect. And I think that's what we were hoping, right? That by running this example, that if anyone wants to add any other fields or make any other changes, then they can kind of use this as a bit of a template, a tutorial, whatever you want to call it. So, of course, it is.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tongue twister, like nodes.
Yeah. But I'm hoping that I should have done this a bit more specific, really, shouldn't I? Rather than all issues, all projects. Project.
Yeah.
Find a project with an issue with a simple note. I've been poking around with one recently, actually, which, although the note might be a bit lengthy, so I might add a shorter note to it to make life a little bit easier.
Yeah, I also would like to you to enter some HTML in the node,
Okay.
so that we fetch the HTML node, not the Markdown, because the Markdown is kind of pointless, because we have to then do another request to the backend to give back the HTML.
Okay, perfect. See if I can keep that. Issues. Okay, that's looking promising.
Yeah.
I should filter this down to just return one potential. But essentially, both of the legacy issue API and the new work item API are both returning the same last note. So that's good. Would we be looking at implementing this in both if possible, or?
I didn't realize that your backend MR fixed it for both. Is that the case?
No, it didn't actually. We must have got confused at some point somewhere, because I think it was always available on the legacy issue, unless coincidentally somebody else added it. But
oh, okay, then yeah, that's good news. So if that is true, then we can do it both, for both. Let's then try to do it in the legacy one, because it's a bit easier.
Yes, sounds good. So let me make sure so this is set to work items. So I'm just going to set this back to the legacy.
Yeah, you can still put lastComment in there, but once we do the Rust compilation, Rust work,
yeah, I just wanted to rewind the change to the GLQL compiles to make sure they're both compiling. Or yeah, perfect. They're both set to legacy, right? Okay. So I'm just cheating a little bit here, but is this where we want to be looking, or for the translation?
I can begin with a brief introduction about the modules in this library.
Yeah.
So it's the folder structure is fairly straightforward. In source, you have modules, analyzer, codegen, parser, and transformer, and then you have some simple files like errors and types and some utils and yeah, those kind of things. So the step-by-step process is that first you have a string query, which is just the GLQL string. You take that and it goes to the parser, which tries to tokenize it and convert into a data structure in which and the data structure you can see in types.rs. You will see the structs here. You can see the query struct somewhere down there. Like if you look for query, yes. So the query has expression, which is a vector. Vector is basically an array of expressions.
Okay.
And an expression is another struct right above, which has a field, operator, and value. This looks quite straightforward, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and field is an enum, which has a list of allowed fields. The field is on top. Yeah, so you see all those fields.
Yeah.
These are all the fields we support, and then you have the serializer, like how to convert from a string to a field, and then a field to string, those kind of things. And then we have operators. And if you look at the operators, is another enum. Just look for enum space operator. Yeah, so you see in, equal, not equal, greater than, and then you have value. That is another enum. Yeah, so it can be null, Boolean, number, quoted, which is just a string, a relative date, an absolute date, a list of values. This is like a recursive enum, which takes a list of itself. There's quite an advanced concept in Rust, but we don't have to worry about that. And then we have a function like the current user function you use.
Got it. Yeah, yeah.
And a token. A token is like a special word, like you can say assignee equals none, or you can say milestone equals upcoming. So upcoming is a special token. It has a special meaning in the language. And a reference is a GitLab reference, like a username, which can be prefixed with @ and label can be prefixed with the tilde, and milestone with percentage. Yeah, you get the idea. So these are the values. So this is the basic idea of what the data structures look like. And the parser module is responsible for taking a string and converting it into this data structure.
Okay.
And once we have that data structure, we give it to the analyzer module. It's like a linter. It checks for the correctness of the data structure, so that you cannot do things like label equals my username, because label and username, you cannot compare both of them. You can compare label only with labels. So it is a linter that does those kind of checks.
Okay.
And for that we have a field type enum. You can see no, it's still in the types. The definitions are in types. I have a to-do list to split those definitions into separate files. So you have a field type enum. You can just type it. Yeah. So it's like nullable, string-like, number-like, date-like, Boolean-like. Yeah. So this is like we're introducing type checking in our language. It's quite meta. And yeah, I wouldn't go into the advanced concepts.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, some of the fields can have only specific operators. So that is what with operators type does. So you can combine, and then you also have multiple. And so it's like a field can have multiple types. So if you want to get a brief idea of this, you can look at analyzer component. There is a sources file, and you will see two files, issues and merge requests. And then you can see a key value pair. Like you can see what are the valid fields in an issue. And then down there, you can see what are the acceptable types. So I say that assignee can be a string, can be a user reference. It can have list, which means which has many. Like you can have multiple of string or user references. It's sort of like TypeScript, but not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's cool. Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then we go through a transformer, the module. I won't go into much detail in the transformer. It's down below the parser, I guess. It's a separate module, the transformer folder. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So what transformer does is takes any dynamic components in your query and tries to convert into static values. So when you set current user, we infer the current user from your login information and replace there. And also when you use relative dates, like created 5 days ago. It does the actual math and converts the like 5 days ago to an absolute date.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and the final step is code generation. So once you have the parsed, analyzed, transformed data structure,
yeah.
it's going to convert it back to a string, but this time it's going to be like a GraphQL string.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the idea. So it's a
Basic.
very linear flow, like step 1, step 2, step 3. You start with a string, you get back a string, but in the middle of the process, there's these data structures that help us make things easier for us.
You
Okay.
basically had fun building a compiler.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one-on-one compilers one-on-one.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So for this exercise, what we need to do is like we can go directly to the code generator. And in the code generator, we have a GraphQL components and GraphQL Rust file.
So I'm just wondering, like, if I try and
Yeah, if you
I
want
guess
to,
some of
you,
these.
yeah, you
Go
can
on.
clean up and delete them, but make sure you don't commit that.
Well, the only thing I was going to sort of be logical and say, right, okay, what if something simple like the title, although what I'm guessing is a bunch of these currently allow you to maybe filter as well, where we don't want to filter, all we want to do is allow them to display this at the moment. So what I would quite often do, although title I guess is probably going to appear quite, oh, it's not too bad, but see, well, where does this appear, and kind of copy paste a little bit. But then, yeah, you're here to allow me to cheat and skip to knowing where I need to go straight away, rather than kind of saying, well, okay, how does it figure out how to represent this? But I'm guessing, because what we saw earlier was that if I just add a field, it assumes that it doesn't need to translate it in any way, shape, or form, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's true.
So if we wanted to add, I don't know, an issue field that isn't currently available, but let's say it was contacts, it's a relational one. So I guess that is going to be more challenging. But
yeah, I'll give you an example of a field like you can do human total time spent.
perfect. Yeah. Okay, great. So that's not defined in here, but it's something that's available from the issue. So human time spent is available in there. It's not defined in here. Perfect. But yeah, I can add it and it will just pass it through essentially.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But you're here to help me cheat. So where should I go to try and wire up and tell it how to translate lastComment?
Yeah, you can go to the GraphQL Rust file that is already open, and you can see how existing fields. We are talking only about the issues API, not dealing with work items right now.
Okay.
But you will see that there's
This is work items.
Yeah, there's a function down there that basically converts render field.
Perfect.
So you tell it how to deal with all of these.
Okay. So I'm just trying to. Should this one be left at the end? Do we want to insert it like here? Is that right?
That one, yeah. The last one, the underscore means everything else.
Cool.
Underscore has special meaning in Rust. It means whatever is left behind.
Okay. So we want to map this. None of these look overly simple. Wrap fields, wrap nodes.
Well,
So-
if you look at the comment on top of this function, it will tell you that, I mean, it should tell you what the input and the output is as well. So field is a string, which is a, yeah, this is a quirk, like there are two different like kinds of strings.
Right.
Like ampersand, str, and string. But you'll need to do a Rust course to understand that deeply. But the basic idea is it takes a string, which is a name of the field, and it expands that into like a whatever is needed, I guess. And we have a lot of helper functions to make that easy. But maybe if you
Okay.
don't really care about helper functions, you can just say lastComment equals whatever you just wrote in the
So
GraphQL.
just keep it as a string to keep it simple for now.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and for the sake of simplicity, you can put that in all in one line.
And you were saying, hey, let's use HTML because it saves us having to render it, right?
Yeah. I'll need a comma. Or you don't?
No, it's a common misconception actually that the separator is a comma in GraphQL, but it's just the space essentially.
Yep.
I think that's it, isn't it? Oops.
Yeah. Yeah. I recommended this approach to you only because this is a bit complex case because it's not just a key value pair of I mean, it's just not a key value pair. It's like it contains nodes and then the values inside the body. So our existing utilities don't really solve this. So it might just be better to just
Okay.
yeah. And now
Nice.
you need to do a compile. So you just to cargo. Yeah, you can stop the server, I guess. You have to go back to the previous directory. I don't know, maybe. Yeah, you can do this.
Let's open another so we can jump back and forward a bit.
Okay. Yeah.
I could do something like that. Yeah, cool. Okay, so this one in npm, this one in here. Okay, so so will that do the trick or?
Yeah, that would do the trick, and then you would need to do a npm run build and WDS again.
Okay, so I've messed something up. Expected a string and found a str.
Okay, yeah, we can go back to the GraphQL RS file and add a toString next to this. Yeah. So a brief explanation of this is that whatever you type in quotes is a reference to a string. And when you do a toString, it's a function you have to call. It is going to convert it to an owned reference. I'm probably not making much sense, but then again, it's a yeah. Yeah, you'll probably need to go through some Rust fundamentals to understand that better.
Okay. But
Yes,
it's great. I don't know if we've got any other Rust projects, but we regularly have new contributors that say like, oh, I'm a Python developer and I'm a C# or whatever. So it's great to be able to point them at this if Rust is there. Is that?
Yeah, I would also think I think it's a nice idea to just link to the two books. I always recommend in the docs. We can add that
Oh,
later.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Maybe you can just refresh the page and
There we go.
and
So should I
maybe,
try it and see if it actually?
yeah.
Where that? These are some.
Using the work items.
Yeah. So that's because I've got weight 1. But that looks good, right? So
Yeah, it looks good. I'm not sure why it was giving you work items information. Or did you copy the query correctly, or did it not compile correctly?
I think it compiled okay.
Yeah.
Is it because the field list doesn't match? Like start date shouldn't be in the list of fields if we're not using.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I think that's all it is. There's just some stuff in here that probably shouldn't be in here. But
yeah, the parent progress, color, start date.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So that I'm guessing that's the only thing that happens in this package, in this library, in this project. To then convert and sort of decide how that renders, is that in the monolith?
Yeah, that's in the monolith, but yeah, we will need to do that in the monolith. But the way it works is that we ship this, we create an MR and release a new version, and then use that version, which is automatically updated by GitLab bot, and then try to do that.
Perfect.
I think for this meeting, what we can do is try to, yeah, we already were successful in adding the field to issues. Let's try to add it to work items.
Yeah, absolutely.
And let's try to add some tests, which for this bit are in TypeScript. So sorry, JavaScript. Yeah, so that's neat as well.
So just remind me. So this one that we modified, this method was render field. Is there a render work item field, or what was the method that we?
Yeah, this one, the render work item widget.
Okay, got it.
And we need to go back to the GraphQL Explorer and see what it looks like. Maybe you can undo. Yeah.
So yeah, from the notes widget,
Yeah.
and then that actually matches that now.
Yeah.
So at some point, I guess we can refactor and make it a bit nicer where we kind of share this between both of them. But it's just where
I wouldn't really do that, because my rule is that if you repeat something twice, that's okay. But if it's thrice, then yeah, you should share it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, how do we? So
Yeah.
go back to our widgets.
You need to go to this one.
Yeah.
And there's two functions. There's one called render work item widgets, and there's another one called random work item widget with singular.
Aha. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can see it's trying to build a string. The first line says let mute. Mute means mutable. By default, everything in Rust is immutable. If you have something assigned to immutable, you can never change it.
Okay.
But you have to tell it to be immutable if you want to change it. So we start with triple dot on and then we try to add the widget name. So you would add a case here, yeah.
So this is where I should have my last comment, I guess. And then equals. But then I need to tell it the widget. Okay. So
Yeah.
then, go on.
Yeah, but if you see whatever is happening after this this whole block, you will see that it has a type field and then render field, which just renders it as something singular. But we don't want to go use that flow.
Okay.
So what we will do it in the last comment. We're gonna do open a parenthesis like the previous epic pipe parent. Yeah, we.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
do that. So instead we go like here.
Yeah. So it's like a switch statement, but you can always short circuit a match statement. What I want to do is I don't really care about the flow that is happening later, but I want to like short circuit it. So so I would say result plus equals whatever string that you had copied before from the previous.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and then you do need the widget. You just open.
So the two of them like this sort of thing.
Yeah, the widget comes first, and then you open the parenthesis. Yeah, or you can, if you want, you can just do it in one line as well. Do you understand what I mean?
Not really. I mean, I'm looking at this example. I would expect maybe that I do, but then I guess it's not a field, right? It's a bit more complex than a field.
No, you just try to understand that we are trying to build a result string, which is just a GraphQL. What is it called?
So is he saying I can just kind of do this then? Maybe?
Exactly, yeah. And then you do a short circuit. You just do return result here, and yeah, that is all.
So I'm trying to, like, this language looks incredibly confusing. I'm trying to figure out, like, this should have a semicolon. Like, I'm confused why, like, this doesn't have a comma after it, but then every other one does.
Yeah, those are a few rules, strange rules that, yeah, if you go step by step in the book, you will understand. So in Rust, there are a lot of new concepts, but if you try to understand all the concepts together, they will cause confusion. But if you do them one by one, then you slowly build up your knowledge. That is the way to go.
So I'm expecting something to break at this point. I'd be amazed if it doesn't. And surprisingly, it didn't. I'm going to change my .compiles back to, was it work items GraphQL?
Yeah.
And then refresh this. Okay, so it's not quite got it right. Let's just format that. So it's tried to put notes directly. It hasn't added it to a widget. So why has it done?
There's one. First of all, there's a typo in your index HTML. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. And secondly, there's a check
Oh,
in the file up there because it has to do some sort of logic to figure out what counts as a widget and what doesn't. So
okay.
there is a array on top which tells it that in GraphQL.rs. So yeah, if you just scroll, yeah. So you just need
This
to add last comment here. So and I hope that should do it. Yeah, I mean,
although
there's a lot of
surprisingly, I didn't actually I didn't restart. Maybe I should have.
yeah, you don't need to restart the server. If you build again, then it automatically takes the latest one.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the wait one. Okay, let's check the notes widget. Do we have something here? Yeah, we
That's
do.
promising. Awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I'm conscious of time, so if there's any kind of last wrap up bits, I guess I'll spin up an MR after this, and we'll maybe either do another session to talk about tests and.
Oh, the tests are super easy. It should not take
Okay.
more than a few minutes. And if you just go to npm, there's a GraphQL.js file. For this, we don't have tests in Rust. That is what makes it a bit easier.
This one here.
Yeah. So if you you just need to it's just compile to GraphQL and match snapshot. That's the basic test. And you just need to add a case for you can see the fields down there, right? Yeah.
This, yeah.
Yeah, this is the regular legacy issue API. If you just add one more line for last comment, you can just reuse the existing test and then do the same for the work items one, which is below.
This one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And these are just snapshot tests. And now if you just run npm run test,
So it's created me new two
Yeah.
snapshots, and I can just check those, I guess, and
yep.
they should be.
Yeah. We are requesting only for the last comment. We don't care about other fields. So for the issues API, it looks like it is correct. And for, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Well, that if only testing was that easy in every project.
Yeah, we use, by the way, if you just look at GraphQL test, we will see something we have imported on top. Maybe in the utils file, like if you just go to test utils. Yeah. So you see the format SGL in the format GraphQL library.
Yeah.
If you want to make GraphQL output pretty in Rust, maybe we need to find some similar library that does the job. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, that's brilliant. I'll spin an MR up, and you can help me understand what kind of next steps, what we bypassed and shortcutted, and what we need to do to get this kind of production ready so that it can actually be reviewed and merged.
Yeah, you can just create an MR in this repo, and then of course there's additional steps we need to take to integrate this into the monolith. which is again not something big. Maybe we don't. I still need to confirm whether we need to do something or not.
Okay, perfect. That's brilliant. Thanks so much for your time. Any questions, Marco or Amber or Nick?
Not really. It seems pretty clear how the process works. It's kind of Rust seems scary. But yeah, I finally had a chance to have a go at Golang, and that turned out very much easier than what I anticipated. So maybe one time I will also try Rust.
I was just going to say, Mark, I don't think you know enough languages, so it's probably best you learn a few more.
Yeah. But I'm curious about one thing about this project. And basically, what converts the string into GraphQL is basically a compiler or a transpiler.
Yeah.
The logic to tokenize and basically create the AST for all the language and then recreate the actual GraphQL query, is that written by hand, or did you use another tool? For example, I don't remember which tools we had a look at while studying compilers and stuff like that.
I can tell you which tool I used. I used DuoChat for 70% of it.
Okay. So you didn't use like I
We
honestly
use
don't remember.
we use a library as well. It's called Nom.
Hmm.
Nom is a parser. Yeah, it's a combinator parser library. What that means is that you can create a small parser, like a bunch of small parsers, and build a bigger parser with those smaller parsers.
Mhm. Yeah, because I remember that there are tools like you define what the syntax is.
Yeah.
That basically creates the code to convert the actual source code into an AST that you can then do whatever you want.
Yeah, but yeah, that is also a nice option. But in this case, we wanted more control over our AST.
Okay.
I believe you're talking about parser generators like Bison or Yak.
That's the one.
Yeah. So Yak is short for yet another compiler. And yeah, it's basically you define the grammar of your language and it generates a parser for you.
Cool.
But what you get, the advantage is that it makes it really easy to create a parser if you understand the grammar. But it's very hard to debug and handle errors because if for GLQL, it's very important for us to, like, if someone makes a mistake in the language, we really want to not just tell them that they did something wrong, but also recommend a corrective action with examples.
Okay.
And using a parser generator, yeah, limits you from doing all of that.
Gotcha. Okay, makes sense.
Cool. Well, thanks everyone for joining. Thanks for showing me the ropes. I'll spin up the MR and share how we get on.
Yeah, sure.